Before Marvel Studio kicks off MCU Phase 4, there are still a couple of Marvel films awaiting release, including Captain Marvel, which will premiere on March 8, 2019, and Avengers Endgame, which will be released April 26, 2019. Both highly anticipated films are expected to set the stage for a spectacular Phase 4. Endgame will complete the arc that began in Infinity War, and will take us directly into Phase 4, which will start with the Spider-Man Homecoming sequel, Spider-Man: Far From Home, on July 5, 2019. The first film will pick up, quote, a few minutes after Avengers 4 wraps up a story, says producer Amy Pascal. Of course, no spoilers have been given, so a lot of what will happen in Phase 4 is anyone's guess, but here's what we know so far. The first film, Spider-Man: Far From Home, is both a sequel to 2017 Spider-Man Homecoming and the first film to come out after Avengers Endgame and kick off Phase 4. Reportedly, the new entry in the Spidey saga will take the hero overseas and will feature returning characters like Ned Leeds and Michelle. While in Europe on a school trip, Peter Parker will be recruited by Nick Fury to join forces with Mysterio and battle the Elementals. Jake Gyllenhaal will debut as Far From Home's pseudo-villain, Mysterio, while Michael Keaton will return as Vulture. Other supervillains are also expected. In addition, Nick Fury, played by Samuel L. Jackson, and Maria Hill, played by Colby Smulders, will be back as well. Spider-Man: Far From Home, which was filmed in England, the Czech Republic, Venice, and New York, was completed in October of 2018. The film will once again be directed by John Watts and arrive in theaters on July 5, 2019, in 3D and IMAX. What we do know about Mysterio, aka Quentin Beck, is that he was a successful stuntman and special effects designer for Hollywood. However, he eventually grew frustrated with what he saw as a lack of respect for his talent. He then decides to team up with the Tinkerer to steal industrial and military plans dressed in an alien costume. He also disguises himself as Spider-Man to frame him for his crimes, so he can ultimately become a hero and bring Spidey to justice. Mysterio is able to replicate Spider-Man's powers, making him even more believable as the hero. Eventually, Spider-Man and Mysterio face off, and Spidey is able to clear his name. It's not certain where Spider-Man: Far From Home will pick up in the terms of Mysterio, but the villain is expected to bring some surprises as Spider-Man's bizarro alter ego. Meanwhile, the Elementals are 4 immortal extra-dimensional humanoids who can control nature forces. They ruled a kingdom on Earth before the rise of the original Atlantis. The elements include Hydron, Lord of the Waters, Magnum, Master of the Earth, Hellfire, Wielder of the Flame, and Zephyr, Mistress of the Winds. So how and why Spider-Man will team up with his nemesis Mysterio to battle the Elementals, a rather obscure group, is yet to be determined. It also appears that Mysterio, despite being the anti-hero, does have a few redeeming qualities. In the teaser trailer, Tom Holland is as endearing as ever as Peter Parker, who unleashes the tongue twister, Peter Parker here to pick up a passport, before heading off to Europe with his classmates for a holiday overseas. All's well and good until Nick Fury shows up and, according to Spider-Man, hijacks his summer vacation. The scenes in the teaser trailer reveal that the action will be packed as Spidey attempts to keep his friends from danger as the Elementals wreak havoc on the continent. The next Phase 4 film will be Black Widow, in which Scarlett Johansson finally gets her own movie. The actress has been playing Natasha Romanoff since Iron Man 2 in 2010, but it has taken Marvel Studios nearly a decade to give her a vehicle of her own. The studio, undoubtedly floored by the success of Wonder Woman, realized that the standalone film starring a female superhero could work. Expected to be filming in June, Black Widow will be directed by Kate Shortland, who is best known for Berlin Syndrome, which was released last year. Sources say the film will explore Black Widow's backstory. The super spy, who was given to the KGB at birth, has been trained to become their ultimate operative. When the USSR disintegrates, the government attempts to kill her while she's living in New York, where she works as a freelance operative. The film will reportedly take place in the United States 15 years after the fall of the Soviet Union, which would mean the action would be set in 2005 or 2006, between the events of Captain Marvel and Iron Man. The film, which will tentatively be released next year, is rumored to be rated R given the character's backstory and tough action scenes. Nothing's confirmed yet though. Do you think it's likely Disney will approve of an R rating for this movie? The Disney-Fox merger didn't change the R rating for Deadpool or its sequel, so it could happen. The Black Widow movie was written by Jack Schaefer, who co-wrote the screenplay for Captain Marvel, another highly anticipated female superhero film. After Black Widow, the Eternals will finally introduce Thanos' brethren. Chloe Zhao, director of The Writer, will reportedly be directing this film as well. It will tell the story of a powerful race of cosmic beings that have existed for millions of years. Though the Eternals look human on the outside, their advanced biology affords them incredible strength, powers, and long lifespans. Both the Eternals and the Deviants were created by gods known as Celestials, as a result of an experiment on early proto-humans. Whereas most Eternals are peaceful, the Deviants are evil beings whose grotesque exterior reflects their warped interior. The two races, who have been battling for millennia, wreak havoc on Earth. All Eternals have the same basic abilities. They are physically resilient and resistant to age and disease. They're also able to regenerate after being wounded. That means they're not easily killed. Eternals have the ability to develop many superhuman abilities, such as super strength, flight, telepathy, force field generation, and transmutation, yet they usually focus just on one. For example, Icarus has unbelievably sharp senses, Machirai is able to run incredibly fast, and Circe is able to manipulate objects on the atomic level. They are also capable of merging with each other and becoming a single force called the Unimind. Up until now, Thanos has been the only Eternal revealed in the MCU. Played by Josh Brolin, the character had a prominent role in Avengers Infinity War and will likely return in this year's Avengers Endgame. Infinity War also references Thanos' father, Lars, and shows the abandoned moon of Titan. Last May, Matthew and Ryan Firpo were hired to write the screenplay. The pair have written and produced Ruin, the post-war drama which will debut later this year, featuring Gal Gadot, aka Wonder Woman. One of Marvel Studios' biggest blockbusters, Black Panther, is getting a sequel. The critically acclaimed first film introduced us to Wakanda, a fictional country located in sub-Saharan Africa. This is home to T'Challa, aka Black Panther. In the movie, T'Challa is crowned king of Wakanda after his father's death, but his reign is challenged by the Jabari tribe's leader, M'Baku, who wants to begin a global revolution and take Wakanda onto the world stage. The sequel will once again be co-written and directed by Ryan Coogler, who won the award for Best Director for Black Panther at last year's Saturn Awards. The film broke several records, becoming the highest-grossing solo superhero film of all time. It is currently the best-reviewed live-action superhero film on Rotten Tomatoes, beating both The Dark Knight and Iron Man. Coogler also has interest in bringing Kraven the Hunter, the Spider-Man villain, into the Black Panther universe. Kraven, otherwise known as Sergei Kravinov, is a Russian immigrant, son of an aristocrat who fled to the United States with his family in 1917 after the February Revolution and the overthrow of Tsar Nicholas II. Being a cold-blooded big-game hunter, he wants to kill Spider-Man to prove that he is the greatest hunter in the world. Kraven would make sense as a Black Panther villain since he is often present in Africa. Also, another possibility which exists in the comics is that Black Panther marries Storm from the X-Men. This can happen if the Disney-Fox merger takes place as planned. Storm would certainly be an explosive threat to Nakia and T'Challa's relationship. Storm, also born in Africa, is the first major female character of African descent in comics. She is able to fly and control weather, and is also an expert marksman, thief, and skilled fighter. Spoiler alert. In the comics, Storm and Black Panther are childhood sweethearts who marry and eventually divorce. What other surprises might we expect in MCU Phase 4? Now that superhero Carol Danvers will become the new Captain Marvel, Kamala Khan, a Pakistani-American Muslim girl from New Jersey who is also a shape-shifting Inhuman, will be the new Miss Marvel. Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige has said that Miss Marvel, quote, is definitely sort of in the works. The cosmic superhero Nova, a space police officer, has been seen as Marvel's answers to DC's Green Lantern. She is known as an ordinary teen granted amazing superpowers similar to Spider-Man. Because the Nova Corps appeared in the Guardians of the Galaxy, there is a possibility confirmed by Feige that Nova could also make an appearance in Phase 4. Stature, aka Casey Lang Stature in Young Avengers, a size-changing superhero, is Ant-Man's daughter, Casey Lang. In the comics, she follows in her dad's footsteps. There may have been rumors that she may appear in Endgame, with Feige admitting that Young Avengers team may also be in the works. Blade, who was played 20 years ago by Wesley Snipes, is a vengeful vampire slayer who may also return. Feige says that when he started at Marvel 18 years ago, he was inspired by two iconic superhero franchises of the modern era, X-Men and Blade, who proved that despite being a relatively unknown superhero, had enough background to launch a series. Don't be surprised if Blade returns as well, seeing as Feige recently said, "I think Blade is a legacy character now, and I think it would be fun to do something with him one day." There have also been rumors of a Power Pack film in development. The four Powers children, who inherit their superpowers strangely enough from a dying horse-like alien, are known for being family-friendly and sporting bright colors and rainbows. Finally, Silk, aka Cindy Moon, who appeared in non-superhero form in Spider-Man Homecoming and Avengers Infinity War as Peter Parker's classmate, is expected to be the comic book superhero Silk, who was bitten by the same radioactive spider as Spider-Man. There are rumors that Sony may be developing a solo film for the character, but it remains to be seen if and when she would make a leap to the MCU. Few film franchises offer as many endless possibilities as the MCU. It all comes down to where the producers want to take us. Also, at more than $200 million a pop, making an MCU film is no small task. We've discussed what's expected to happen and what we think will happen in Phase 4. Let us know what you'd like to see in the comments below. And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe to The Binger for more great content like this. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you at the movies.